everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. I tell you what, these questions have been very good. So you guys don't let me down on this episode. Let's see what we got today. Question number 1. What do you miss about your youth growing up that you see missing in our culture today that you wish you could come back, that you wish would come back for future generations? Oh my gosh. I think about this all the time. I feel like I am so lucky. I got to grow up in the greatest place on earth, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, in the greatest time in the 80s and 90s. Like that's the good stuff there. You know why? What I actually would love to go back to for a moment for our kids is a world without screens, a world without phones and tablets and computers. Like I vividly remember when we first got a computer in my house. It was a very big deal. And I remember the first time we had the phone, it was those like brick phones, you know, like the big ones that, you know, like this big. That was how we lived life. We didn't have a screen in front of us all the time. You know, I see these studies that say, oh, well, if you look in the future, 50 years, everybody's going to have like a hunchback because we're all looking down at our phones all the time. It's so bad for us in so many ways. But I think about, you know, whenever you would make plans with somebody, you would just go, you would show up. You'd be like, yeah, I'm going to like the 7:00 movie, so I'll see you there. And then you just go and you meet in front of the thing and you go in. That time, I feel like was so special, and I'm grateful that I am probably the end of the generations that ever remember a time without the screens. It's such an entrenched part of our lives now. I think that there would be a lot of danger associated with fully removing it for a lot of people. People just don't know how to do anything. Spell, read a map, like nothing. We can't do anything. And it's a convenience. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on all aspects of it, but I think for our kids, it's especially addictive. They say that it stimulates the same part of your brain whenever you use some sort of a device as drugs would stimulate in your brain. So I don't want my 5 and 7-year-old dealing with that. I think it's awful. I try to get them outside as much as humanly possible. They get very little time in front of a screen as it is already. And if they are not absolutely perfect, they lose it totally. And that's okay too. So I would just like to go back to a time like that. I think it was so special that I got to grow up like that. And I'm incredibly grateful for that time. Next question. How did you celebrate Mother's Day? Thank you for asking. I got to do a nice Pilates class when I first woke up. And then I took my son to his football game. And at the field where the football games are held, there is a track that goes around just next to it. Another field there they have. And my daughter told me that because it was Mother's Day, she wanted to run with me. So we ran a couple times around the track together, which was great. Then we all did a nice little Mother's Day brunch. And I got to hang out at the pool with my husband and my kids and just kind of enjoyed one another, which I feel like we're all so busy all the time. Even on a weekend, I feel like there's always a lot going on. There's people around, we have friends in town or whatever it is. It was so nice actually to just sit with my husband, watch the kids play in the pool, jump in the pool with them a little bit. I, of course, did my sauna and cold plunge, which I can only find time to do on the weekends usually. So it was great. And then we just, we stayed in and had a very nice, relaxing day. So I would say it was perfect. I loved every second of it. I got a lot of nice little knickknacks and things from my kids. They took a couple of gift bags and just went around the house and gathered up a bunch of things, put them in the gift bags for me. But they also made me very nice cards, and both of them at school did some nice little projects for me, so I got those as well. So I'm going to say 10 out of 10 for Mother's Day. Big one this year for me. In today's world, protecting yourself and your family has never been more important. But we know sometimes a firearm isn't the right answer. That's why I'm proud to introduce you to the new Burna Compact Launcher, or CL. This is the world's smallest and most powerful, less lethal self-defense tool. Look at this. It's about the size of a smartphone. But I'll tell you what, don't let its small size fool you. Firing at 400 feet per second, the CL packs enough punch to stop a threat right in their tracks without the life-altering consequences of deadly force. Here's something else I love. Over 80% of Burna's components are proudly made right here in the USA, and every launcher is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Protect what matters most, safely, legally, and with confidence. Visit Burna.com today to learn more about the compact launcher. Burna, the alternative to deadly force. That's BYRNA. Visit Burna.com to learn more. We live in a time where speaking the truth often comes with a cost. But silence has a cost too, and it's one we can't afford. Live Not by Lies is a powerful new docuseries that shines a light on how soft totalitarianism is gaining ground in America. Based on the best-selling book by Rod Drehar, the series shares real stories from men and women who lived under brutal communist regimes. They know what it's like to lose freedom, and they see it happening in the warning signs here. Through gripping personal accounts and powerful interviews, the series shows how surveillance, censorship, and ideological conformity are not things of the past. They're happening now, often disguised as progress or protection. You can stream Live Not by Lies today by joining Angel Guild. Visit angel.com/Lara to join. That's angel.com/LARA. Watch it, share it, and stand firm for faith, for family, and for freedom. Next question. When will you interview Barron? You know, I'm all down to interview Barron. It's so funny because so many people ask me about Barron. That's like one of the number one questions I get is, well, how's Barron? What's he like? Barron is such a smart, very cool kid. And I actually love that he's not really out there and that people are so fascinated and so intrigued by him. So whenever he wants, there is an open invitation for Barron to do an interview with me. I would absolutely love to do it. And I think he knows it's a safe space. But yeah, you know what? Whenever he's ready, when the time is right and he feels like he wants to put himself out there. But don't forget, I mean, Barron is in his first year in college. Like, that's a big deal. I'm trying to think back to being like 18, 19 years old. That's a lot to think about, kind of like just thrusting yourself out there, doing an interview like this. That's pretty gutsy. But you know what? Whenever he's ready, Barron, you let me know. Okay, next question. Favorite pizza? The only wrong answer, or is that you don't like? It's Hawaiian or that you don't like pizza. Oh, the only wrong answer is if it's Hawaiian pizza or I don't like pizza. I did used to like Hawaiian pizza. So that's probably the wrong answer. And yeah, of course I like pizza. I'll tell you how I like my pizza. Because I'm trying to do a little bit of a guilt-free, more health-conscious pizza. Although it probably isn't anyway. The cauliflower crust pizza, you know, we've got it all over the place down here in South Florida. Don't kid yourself. If I get a hold of a cauliflower crust pizza, I'm running with it. My favorite one I found so far includes, like, there's no red sauce. I'm not sure if there's any sauce on it. There may be no sauce. There may be like a sort of white sauce, like an Alfredo or something. I'm not sure. Also not fully in on like the health front there. But it's got mushrooms and like I think a little like truffle oil or something. Oh my gosh, it is so good. The crust is thin because it's a cauliflower crust, but I also feel less guilty about eating it. But I'll take any pizza. Like honestly, I'm good with a good old margarita pizza. That's great for me. Just give me a cheese. I'm gonna take it all day, every day. So yeah, but the cauliflower crust does make me feel like I'm having a bit of a health food, which I know I'm not. I know that is not the case at all. So thank you. But yeah, what's the problem with what's Hawaiian? It's the ham with the pineapple, right? Who doesn't like that? Do people not like that? And why? I think that's a great combination. I'm okay with that. No shade. Final question. If you were to interview anyone on Biden's pardon list, who would you interview and the most burning question you'd like to ask? Adam Schiff, and Adam Schiff. Let me tell you something about Adam Schiff. This guy had the gall to jump in front of a camera anywhere he went, anyone who would take him, and say he had the smoking gun that would tie Donald Trump to Russia collusion. If he said it once, he said it 10 billion times, this guy. He knew full well there was absolutely nothing to it. You know why? Because no one did anything as it related to Russia. My father-in-law didn't do anything. No one in our campaign did anything. I remember he dragged my brother-in-law, Don, into this as well in some way. Adam Schiff has been out there screaming from the rooftops to anyone who would listen and in front of any camera he could find that Donald Trump is guilty of that he, did something to collude with Russia to win in 2016, and that he's got the proof. Donald Trump's days are numbered. The walls are closing in. Adam Schiff, you have produced zero, absolutely zero. This person ought to be ashamed of himself. I know he's not, because it seems he doesn't even have a conscience or any sort of a moral guidance whatsoever. So I would like to ask him to produce the smoking gun evidence. Where is it? Where'd it go? Why haven't you brought that out yet? The fact that anyone even lets this man on television is beyond me. People who put him on TV should also be ashamed of themselves, because he has absolutely no credibility, and the damage that he did to our country, to people all over America, is beyond me. To lead people on to believe that something happened with Russia, shame on you, Adam Schiff. So that's who I would like to talk to, and I'd like to ask him to pony up that evidence that he apparently had all those years ago. I can't imagine what happened to it, but I guess we'll wait. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. That last question got me, because God, for years I've been seeing this guy on TV just running his mouth with absolutely nothing to back it up, and we all knew it all along. We all knew that. If you have a question, please make sure you post under this episode. You can go to any of our social media. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow, and we'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.